Hello, welcome back to Blender CC Live Learning. In this episode, I'm sharing the breakdown of how I created this setup. So it's utilizing geometry nodes and SketchUp nodes. I'm using Blender 2.93. And so what's happening here, geometry nodes is currently reading a texture. And this texture is, of course, this guy that's coming from SketchUp. Okay, so this is it's actually pretty simple once explained. So basically we have this point scatter inside geometry nodes. It's scattering this icosphere, and on top of that we have attribute sample texture node. So this is new with Blender 2.93 alpha, and in point instance is the icosphere. So this one is reading this mapping of SV map that's coming from SketchUp as well. And we have this texture, and this is actually kind of swimming as well. So occasionally we have glitch here. I think on a Mac, if we are using SketchUp texture node, this kind of glitch often happens. So don't worry about that too much. Let me explain what's going on here. So we have a couple of ways. Let me explain. Okay, we have a hidden plane in here. It's called beta, and this one is using geometry nodes. And this plane is also generating UV on the fly, and this procedural texture that's now kind of glitching. All right. So I started with this plane, and I plugged this into vector fractal. This plane itself have 128 by 128, the same like the texture size, because I'm using small size texture. Okay. So plane plug into the vector fractal, and then I invert the color. I can actually just use it like this, and I can pick any of the pattern that we like. Okay, we have Perlin, the usual Perlin, and it's animated as well, so you can bake the image texture if you want. And okay, so we have the texture. On top of that, we also have this plane plugged into mesh viewer. Actually, I need to, supposedly it's the same plane. Anyway, they both is a plane, and it's outputting the UV map at the same time that's being generated inside SketchUp. So you can repeat the UV or randomize the UV, whatever you like, and you're gonna get a result this way. So you just provide it with the UV, and then sample the UV texture inside geometry nodes. So you get something like this. So it's pretty interesting that this actually works. You probably want to also play around with the 3D texture and weight mapping. It's not as simple, but something to try. So here I'm just using a plane plug into vector fractal. You can actually use sphere, so it's not limited to 2D texture. You can also use 3D. So yeah. So I guess you have to give it a try yourself. It's a slightly complicated, but this is a good analogy. So normally you want to use your own texture or something that's Blender generated itself. So for example, if instead of using this texture, I can use image or movie file, or generate our own texture, I believe. So this should work. So the icosphere scale is being controlled here. And then you can, I believe you can also remap the scale into color ramp if you want, and then multiply it somehow. So I'm not gonna do that now, but this is a good start. So give it a try. It's not the easiest, but it's actually quite fun to work with once you understand what's going on. All right. So thanks again for tuning in, and I'll see you next time. Thank you. Bye.